Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. To start things off, after a short period of consolidation, Bitcoin broke down and has dropped below the key support level of 11,000 US dollars. That has previously been a strong region of buying pressure for the cryptocurrency. Now analysts are noting that the drop may continue on until Bitcoin fills its CME futures gap that currently exists in the low $8,000 region, which may mean that embattled investors will face another 30% drop before the crypto reverses its downtrend and begins climbing higher. So over the last 24 hours, we've had a very ridiculous sequence of events that have kind of taken place. What ended up happening was, or rather, I'll kind of go through it this way. Since Bitcoin has fallen down from 11,000 US dollars, there's something called a Bitcoin fear sentiment chart, which kind of shows, you might have guessed it, exactly how much fear there is in the market and how investors are feeling currently about the price of Bitcoin. A couple of these were introduced sometime throughout 2018, pretty much as a lot of the things from traditional finance have been dragged over to the cryptocurrency space to kind of give people who were in traditional finance a bit more of a comfortable feeling for entering the cryptocurrency market and kind of understanding exactly how things are going. So one of the main things that got introduced through multiple outlets was the introduction of a Bitcoin fear index. And it pretty much shows, it goes by public sentiment, obviously, but it also, I think, mainly goes by what people are talking about on social media, how many people are talking about something in a positive manner, in a negative manner, who's using it, who's not using it, exactly where people may think things are happening, especially if we end up breaking down from a certain level of support. So where we are right now, I think this is the chart right here. Yep, Bitcoin's fear and greed index. It says crypto fear and greed index, but if you read down a bit lower, it mainly mentions the word Bitcoin. Is currently at the number 11, which is now extreme fear. Last month it was at 40, which was fear. Last week it was 61, which was greedy. Last year, 45, fear, as prices kept on going down, obviously, but now it's at an 11, and I don't think we've been at 11 for a very long amount of time. Is this it over here? Yep, so as the market has gone, or rather, the idea has been always, or rather, whatever, you get what I'm talking about. As the market has not regained, or Bitcoin has not yet gone over $14,000, a lot of analysts have been wondering and maybe even worrying that Bitcoin could potentially then be on its way further down. What I usually don't care for in situations like this is that if you spread fear and you let other people know that they should be afraid, it makes them afraid. And then it makes their friends afraid, and then they text their other friends and family who are also holding the same thing that you may also be holding, and it instills something in them that would have not otherwise have been there before. We've seen situations like this before, and especially in 2017 and 2018, where something negative might have happened within the cryptocurrency space. Tons of articles were released talking about how Bitcoin was going to go down, Bitcoin fear, so-and-so, everyone's afraid, and then Bitcoin went up by 7%, and the market continued going up where it was already headed before, because for some reason in this one instance, the fear just simply didn't get out there. But like I said, I understand market trends. I understand market so-and-so. I get it. Things have to go up and down. I totally understand. But whenever something tiny happens in the cryptocurrency space, or even to Bitcoin's price, people always make sure to announce that something more terrible could happen. And what ends up happening is that a lot of people who are then holding that certain asset or that coin or that anything, fear is very strong, and fear can take over you at any given second. And if you are holding something that is not going up to $14,000 and someone else tells you, you should be afraid, because the prices are probably going to go down lower. Even if they're not going to, you end up selling. And this is why we also have the situation where people can send Bitcoin back and forth, and it makes people afraid. People can put in fake sell orders on cryptocurrency exchanges and people get afraid, or people can even put in fake buy orders and the prices of cryptocurrencies will go up because people think that people are trying to buy millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin or anything else. At the moment, because of where we are right now, depending on which price graph metric you're actually looking at, Bitcoin is currently around $10,480. Let's say $10,500 for the sake of just rounding it out. And people are thinking that if this continues over the next day or two, especially as we have a very high fear index, that Bitcoin could then slip down to 10,000. And if we end up hitting 10,000, I think 10,200 is kind of the number that I've seen floating around before. If we end up hitting 10,000, then obviously 9,000 something is on the way. A lot of people are, not even a lot of people. I've seen prominent members of the cryptocurrency space who do technical analysis or analysis, and they keep saying that they think that Bitcoin could go down to $6,000. There's no real reason for Bitcoin to go down to $6,000, except for the fact that other people are saying that Bitcoin is going to go down to $6,000. Never, ever forget that we were also in a period last year with these same exact people. I won't name any names. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know them or probably have watched their videos and or follow them, where Bitcoin was around $6,000. And people kept on claiming that Bitcoin was going down to $1,200 and or $800. This instills a lot of fear in people. And this is, I find it weird that people within the cryptocurrency space are so interested and in making other people afraid that they're also unaware that they're actively shaking out people within the cryptocurrency space who support them and or follow them and or who are looking for, I guess, more realistic information, if I can kind of say that. One of the main things especially that happened last year is that as more fear gripped the market and prices continued to go lower, these same exact people kept on noting that Bitcoin was going to drop another 90%, and that causes a lot of people who are already in the cryptocurrency space to flee and then not want to re-enter the cryptocurrency space. And the people wonder why the Bitcoin prices are still going down. It's because you continue to scare other people. The same exact thing happened a couple of months ago. I don't remember the exact situation, but we were definitely talking about that people continuously think, or rather tell other people, and it's always the people who have the most followers on Twitter. That's the part that kind of always gets me as well. Instead of just sharing actual information of what's happening in the cryptocurrency space, or where things could not even where they could potentially go, it's always like this is going to happen anyway. I'm rambling on. These are my own feelings. The point is, people are saying that if we continue moving down the way that we have been, I think when I checked last, or even before this video, I think Bitcoin was down around 9% over the last 24 hours. Kind of is what it is. For those who don't know, the main idea behind what is happening right now is that yesterday, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission delayed another 3 Bitcoin exchange traded funds, telling them that they had to wait. I believe the deadline is sometime in October. What we've seen before historically, and I think I mentioned this yesterday in the video, is that whenever we have had a Bitcoin ETF date drawing closer for approval, Bitcoin's price has typically ticked up a tiny bit, maybe 2%, maybe 4%, just in anticipation of what could potentially happen if they do get a thumbs up from the SEC telling them, hey, this is definitely going to happen, blah, 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 and then the market kind of completely goes crazy. Thus far, the SEC has not given us the green light on any Bitcoin ETFs or any other thing even remotely resembling an ETF that has to do with cryptocurrencies. But every single time that we get a rejection, the price goes down. So logically, I'm going to assume that since the Bitcoin price has gone down over the last 24 hours, and just about 18, 19, 20 hours ago, we received information from the SEC of another 3 Bitcoin ETF rejections, or rather delays in the decision, excuse me, that this is probably why the Bitcoin price has fallen, because thus far this week, even the last 7 days, if I can draw it out, nothing really negative has happened. Even the Bitcoin fear index is a little confusing because there hasn't been anything happening negative in the price of Bitcoin or the wider cryptocurrency space, except for the fact that Bitcoin hasn't gone back over 14,000. I think it's a little weird. Where is it? Once again, there you are. That last year, the fear index was 45. Right now, we're at extreme fear, and it would have made a bit more sense to have an extreme fear index if Bitcoin had gone down from $20,000 to $3,000. That's extreme fear to me. What we kind of have right now is just a kind of sideways trends, sideways patterns. I know a lot of people don't care for when, what's it called? Major analysts and or banks and or news corporation operations end up telling other people to buy Bitcoin. I understand why people would see this as a negative thing, but it could always be worse. We could have news that Bitcoin was hacked. that there's a situation where 3 companies are in control of 65% of the network. There's always things that are a lot worse than news that we received from the SEC once again, that there have been a number of other ETF delays and or disapprovals, unapprovals, whatever the word actually might be, just to kind of let you know exactly what we've been going through the last couple of years. I'm going to read it off the screen just to give you a bit of an idea, because this is not the first time that this has happened. It says the SEC rejects 9 Bitcoin ETF proposals. Crypto ETF rejection sends Bitcoin's price below $8,000. Bracing for impact, Bitcoin's price slides below $8,000 ahead of SEC's ETF decision. Over $9 billion wiped out in August 8th of 2018. Wiped off Bitcoin's value after SEC postpones key decision on a cryptocurrency ETF. Bitcoin falls close to $6,500 after SEC ETF delay. I almost said disapproval. And this one says the Winklevoss twins have said if a Bitcoin ETF approval takes 6 years, so be it. Thus far, I think it might even be 5 right now, but I remember last year that we had news from the Winklevoss that they've been trying to actually get a Bitcoin ETF push through since 2014, and thus far, the SEC has said no to all of them. For some reason, during the course of 2018, a lot of people thought that we were going to get an ETF approval. I'm not exactly sure why they thought that, especially. Remember this really weird period where Bitcoin was trending sideways for about 3 months? And everyone was saying, well, Bitcoin is stable enough now that we should be able to get an ETF, because one of the main oppositions, whatever, that the SEC have for the approval of a Bitcoin ETF was that the price was too volatile, and therefore if the price was stable for long enough, there would be a Bitcoin ETF approved. This was kind of I know 2018 was a very weird year, so that was kind of the idea. The fact remains is that I thought, or had hoped, that we as a market had moved on from any idea that an ETF was going to get approved, because realistically, if we end up having the same exact situation and once again in October, we're going to receive another rejection from the SEC. One can only assume that if this has happened multiple times throughout history and Bitcoin's price always reacts negatively, that we're probably going to have another rejection this October as well from the other 3 Bitcoin ETFs, and the price will go down even further. For those, this is more so just kind of to let you know what's going on, what continues to happen. Bitcoin always goes down after the SEC delays or postpones or says no to a Bitcoin ETF. It doesn't matter. Who cares? We don't need a Bitcoin ETF. Bitcoin will go up regardless if we have an ETF or not. There were many other things that many other people kept on saying since 2016 that we needed in the cryptocurrency space. We did not get them, and lo and behold, Bitcoin is still over at 10,000 US dollars. A lot of people think, especially more, and this is what kind of people keep asking, well, not asking all the time anymore, but people asked before why I was very negative towards Coinbase. It's not that I don't like Coinbase, I don't really care for them, but they were one of the main headliners who kept on saying that we needed regulation, we needed rich people in the market, we needed so-and-so, we needed an ETF, we needed an ETN, it was all these we need, and if that permeates into the minds of other people enough, everyone then starts to believe, well, we need this. Bitcoin won't move without it, and then Bitcoin actually ends up moving without it, but people always then forget what the other people were saying that we needed before when we didn't even need it. Get what I'm saying? If someone keeps saying something, if someone keeps saying that the price of Bitcoin is going to go down to $1,000 and everyone gets really afraid and the Bitcoin price starts going down near it, everyone's like, oh my gosh, the person's so correct, and then the price ends up going back up. People forget about a year later that person said that the price was going to go down to 1,000. And then when we have a $15,000 Bitcoin, that person then goes again, Bitcoin's going down to 3,000, and the Bitcoin drops by 15%. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, they're right. So it's this, you try and remember, it doesn't really matter. I know that people won't remember. The point is, Bitcoin is down. I'm going to assume that within a week or so, what does that? Go away. I assume within a week or so, Bitcoin will probably be above $11,000 once again. I'm not expecting a $15,000, $25,000, $38,000 Bitcoin in the near future. I think the only things that I'm honestly probably excited for or am looking forward to is just the launch of Bakkt, like the official launch of Bakkt. I was talking about that earlier. Not to all of you, but to someone else. I was talking about that the people from the New York Stock Exchange announced in, what was it, June? That Bakkt was weeks away from launching, and not like the rich people test launch, like an actual official launch. So I think that that'll have more of a beneficial effect on the price of Bitcoin, especially if we end up seeing huge amounts of volume flowing through that market, that people will hopefully stop caring about a Bitcoin ETF. I, at this point, honestly think that we probably won't see a Bitcoin ETF for the next 2 or 3 years. At that point, nobody will care because Bitcoin will be over 100,000. Anyway, that's what's been taking place for those who were wondering. And yeah, let's move on. So there's a whole bunch of, how do I phrase this? It's like, oh, wow, that's cool kind of news. If you heard the sarcasm in my voice, retail giant Overstock's blockchain subsidiary company known as tZero has opened up its preferred equity security tokens dubbed tZero. Is tZROP. Why not? For trading by accredited and non-accredited investors. That means normal people can join it as well. tZero announced the news in a press release yesterday, day before, the previously proclaimed day of the launch. According to the announcement, the tZROP tokens allow investors to directly participate in the company's revenue growth via a quarterly dividend model. The announcement further states that the company could distribute a quarterly dividend of 10% of the company's adjusted gross revenue for tZROP holders. However, it also specifies that this is subject to the approval from the board of directors as well as Delaware law and accounting requirements. I think the most important part here is that apparently you can also get dividends in US dollars, Bitcoin, or Ether, or some other security tokens, which I believe that their token has already been designated as a security. So kind of cool in its own way. I'm a little, not even 50-50. It's an odd situation. The people from Overstock, years ago, for those who have no idea what Overstock is, which is kind of sad, Overstock was trying to be a competitor to eBay and Amazon. It did not work out very well. Overstock was one of the very first, I think may have been the first major company in the world to announce that they were accepting cryptocurrencies as a payment. I think there was a lot of negativity around this for them accepting it, especially as Bitcoin was relatively still new. And I think even after a year, they released some type of documents to talk about how much money that they had made from people buying stuff in Bitcoin. And I think it was around like 300,000 US dollars, which was kind of, you know, it's not a lot in the short term. But this was also years ago when Bitcoin was around $150. So I assume that their little stash of Bitcoin that they had gotten, no, that's not correct English, has grown relatively large. Last year, the people from Overstock announced that they were going to get more into the cryptocurrency space, and I guess kind of not leave Overstock behind, but they're not focusing on it as heavily as they were before. So this is where they created tZero to be able to deal in the, I think this is also a cryptocurrency trading desk, if I'm not mistaken. The point is, so now they're also offering dividends, which is pretty much like every quarter, every 3 months, you'll receive 10% of the dividend for how much stock and or tokens that you're holding with them, which is kind of cool. But like I said, honestly, I think it's a little weird. I don't know exactly how long-standing the long-term prospect or growth of exactly how far this is going to go. I think it's a little weird that a company like Overstock created a company called tZero to be able to trade in security tokens, and now they're offering a dividend as well. Kind of interesting. I think it's cool. Like I said, I think the most coolest part to me is the being able to get your dividends in Bitcoin or Ether. I think that's kind of the coolest part of all of this. But yeah, tZero launched. For those of you who were wondering, there's been a lot of news like this. A lot of companies, I think we're seeing a mimic of 2018, but I think that things are different than 2018 price-wise. A lot of companies were launching in 2018 thinking that the price of Bitcoin was going to go back up. This was a huge thing in 2018. People thought that Bitcoin's price was going to be $50,000 by the end of last year. Obviously, this does not end up happening. But now, because we have a renewed sentiment of joy in the cryptocurrency markets and the Bitcoin market and where people think that Bitcoin could be by the end of this year. Everyone seems to be launching their companies. I don't know the longevity is the word I was looking for, the longevity of these companies and how long they're going to actually last. I think tZero might, I can't tell you. In my opinion, I have no real strong amount of hope from any company, tZero or Overstock or anything else otherwise, who's kind of jumped on the blockchain cryptocurrency security token wagon, especially because in all honesty, we don't really need extra tokens. I understand that the world is supposed to be tokenized. This is what a lot of the crypto analysts say. But anyway, I'm tired of talking about tZero. Let's move on. Next up in oh wow cool news, Governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, recently signed Bill S2297, which is an act to create a so-dubbed New Jersey Blockchain Initiative Task Force. The purpose of the task force is purportedly to study blockchain solutions for the benefit of the state. The news that Murphy passed the bill comes by way of an announcement on the official site of the state of New Jersey on the 8th of August. According to the press release, the task force will study the risks and rewards related to blockchain and distributed ledger technology, public blockchains, private blockchains, and consensus algorithms, current projects and use cases around the world, and their potential within the state, and what laws could be changed for secure and paperless record keeping. Cool. Why not? I think these were going to happen eventually. At some point, we saw a number of these try to launch in New York last year, where they were trying to have a self-governing cryptocurrency. So I think two of them were made. It was one with the Gemini twins. I think they made it. It was them, Coinbase, and someone else. And the other side, what's that really rich person's name who's always in the news? I can't remember his name. It was him and like 4 other people. They were trying to make their own little task force where they themselves create some of the rules for the cryptocurrency space, and they report back to the government as opposed to the government directly having to actually be in cryptocurrency space, air quotes, to tell us exactly what to do. So this is kind of cool, awesome, amazing. It's nice that certain states are at least figuring out how to further the blockchain space. I would hope or assume that they are also trying to get the attention of cryptocurrency companies to be able to go into their space and kind of also benefit from that state-wise as well. But yeah, cool. Why not? It was going to happen. It happened. And let's move on. Or here's the actual thing, the actual announcement, if you will, or the law, whatever you kind of want to call it. This website looks terrible. This looks like it's from 1992. Do you remember like the first website pages? Like this looks like, I always wonder why governments, whenever they release news like this, it always is on a page like this. Like it never looks nice. I'm not saying that they have to spend, you know, billions of dollars to create their website, but it doesn't look that nice. Like why? Anyway, okay, this is that, and let's move on. Also in oh wow cool news, the Dallas Mavericks have become the second NBA team to accept Bitcoin as a means of payment for match tickets and merchandise. A tweet from cryptocurrency payment processor BitPay confirmed the news on the 13th of August. Cryptocurrency adoption has been on the horizon for the Mavs since early last year, when team owner and billionaire tech investor Mark Cuban hinted that fans would soon be able to use Bitcoin to buy tickets to the team's games. Cool. Why not? It was bound to happen. I think a lot of people thought in the very beginning that it would be a massive wave of adoption, or everyone would be not forced to use Bitcoin, but that it would kind of be like an overnight thing where everything simply had a big B next to it, and everyone's like, okay, I guess I got to spend my Bitcoin. But it's happening slowly. It's interesting that sports teams are kind of usually at the forefront of getting people to use Bitcoin or know about Bitcoin, which is great. I mean, this gets millions and millions and millions of people just to even see the word Bitcoin or understanding exactly what Bitcoin is and that it can be used as a means of payment. Mark Cuban, if I'm not mistaken, is also one of the largest cryptocurrency owners on this planet. So one can only assume, or rather what I would do is, if I owned a basketball team, I would accept Bitcoin as payment, and I would make sure that I put that Bitcoin into my pocket and just kind of gave an equal US dollar equivalent to whatever that it was. It's a smart way to increase your holdings. But yeah, cool. between nope, that's it. I was going to talk about Litecoin and their team sports payment usage, but cool? Question mark? To kind of finish things off in a wow, oh my gosh, that's so cool announcement, Icon announced that it is giving away roughly $500,000 worth of its native tokens in order to promote voter and staking participation. And I'll tell you exactly in a moment why I'm even talking about this. The Icon Foundation, the group behind the Icon blockchain network, logically, is giving away 3 million Icon tokens worth 570,000 US dollars in anticipation of its upcoming public representative elections. The giveaway will last from the 26th of August to the 24th of September for Icon token holders who opt to participate in P-Rep voting. Icon shared news of the giveaway in a press release yesterday. According to the announcement, the giveaway is an effort to promote community involvement in the so-dubbed P-Rep elections and to advance decentralized control of the network. As per the announcement, Icon holders must participate in voting and staking in the upcoming P-Rep in order to receive tokens from the giveaway, so the giveaway acts directly as a participation incentive. What I've seen before, and this is why I'm even talking about this, and we'll probably never talk about Icon again, I have met a number of other, I want to call them economically savvy people, and what they've done before is that they've made sure to participate in giveaways, what have you, where they're, you know, taking place, in order to be able to receive free money, as it were, and they usually transfer that free money into Bitcoin. It's a way to increase your Bitcoin holdings. For those of you who are going to participate in the Icon giveaway, think about the future terms of growth and what it means to your portfolio and exactly where you see yourself in 5 years and what tokens you should be holding. That is maybe the nicest way of saying it. The same exact thing was going to happen last year as well, but it didn't really take off. For those of you who were not here, and for those of you who were, I'm pretty sure you remember a time where right around the time where EOS was going to launch, one of the main things that makes EOS very attractive is that in order to build things on their blockchain, you have to hold the EOS token. And the idea is that other people who were going to potentially be building their ICOs or STOs on top of EOS would need the token to be able to do so, and therefore every single time that a new token was launched, many people were also doing airdrops if you held EOS. So if you held 500 EOS and an airdrop was happening, you would actually receive more of the airdropped token because of the more EOS that you actually ended up holding. So a lot of people were planning, and like I said, it didn't end up coming to fruition because the market continued to slide down and not many ICOs were actually being launched. Because of the market going down, that people were calculating how much EOS they had to own in order to be able to receive an okay amount of coins from the airdrops, because it was estimated that by the end of last year, we would have several hundred different airdrops happening. Once again, they did not end up happening because the prices went down. However, people were like, I could possibly get, I forgot what the numbers were, like $50,000 pretty much for free from airdrops. And then they would transfer all of that either into more EOS or simply into Bitcoin. Maybe it'll happen sometime in the future. Like I said, I know a lot of people who participate in many giveaways across the cryptocurrency space and airdrops to be able to receive free money, as it were, in an effort to simply exchange that into more Bitcoin. Yeah. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Woody and Daisy, Triple M and J, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Milweezy, JR, Mechanic, Strange Radio Central, Crypto Artist Cold D3D, Cryptopolis, Nicholas Warner with One Piece One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Alex Templeton, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, and Miller Hits Chest Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Thank you all very much for your support. At the moment, the cryptocurrency market is where we were talking about before. Okay, Bitcoin's recovered a tiny bit. It was down about 9%. It was around 10,300 and something dollars before. It is currently at $10,526, only air quotes down 6.9%. A lot of the altcoins have not suffered as much as Bitcoin. There's also, very interestingly, the what's it called? The Satoshi price of all the coins is also in the green, which is kind of fascinating to see because we were definitely in a period before where everything was in the red. I don't think, me personally, that we are in the altcoin season yet, and I honestly don't even know what could even get us there. There doesn't seem to be many catalysts for, I don't think there's going to be a spark. If we have a Bitcoin price falling dramatically, I think the other coins would then also dramatically follow it as well. When Bitcoin's price has been going up, usually Bitcoin garners a lot of the attention. So I also am kind of 50-50 on that as well. I don't know what exactly would be the spark that would launch an altcoin season or coins, or cause altcoins to kind of shoot up. A lot of them aren't receiving an enormous amount of retention. My goodness, I'm just all over the place today. Attention and or news for some reason the last couple of weeks. Like, yes, a lot of them have received good news, but they'll go up. And then almost a day or two later, they'll kind of go down. Maybe the market's just in a really weird in-between period. Maybe everyone is waiting for the magical Bitcoin to pass by $14,000 once again, and then to kind of continue going up. I think the really weird part is that, where is it? That just passed by it. Bitcoin Diamond is up. This is how you know we are in one of the most irrational markets in the entire world. I'm so excited. And I mean this in all seriousness. I'm so excited, like 5 years down the line, when a lot of other coins, I won't say which ones, probably a lot of them, have disappeared. And all that money has kind of merged into the top 10 in some sort of way. Like the stories that we're just going to hear about it, and like finally not having to really deal with all these coins before, because there is logically zero reason why Bitcoin would go down, but Bitcoin Diamond or even Bitcoin Gold, which is currently up by 10%, would be going up at all. There has to be some sort of a subsection of people within the cryptocurrency space who hold forks of Bitcoin, and whenever Bitcoin goes down, it jingles their bells. And yeah, because SV is also up, and so is Bcash. And that has to be what it is. And I can only imagine on certain forums, I can imagine whenever Bitcoin goes down, there are definitely at least 10,000 people on this planet who make sure to write happy posts on social media talking about the demise of Bitcoin and how their forked coin is going up in comparison to it. Kind of is what it is anyway. I think that's all I have to ramble about today. I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said, these are just normal market things. For some reason, whenever we have whenever stuff goes into the actual, and I wonder who's doing it as well, whenever we have stuff on like main news networks, and they make sure to hype up the anticipation of something, and they know that it's not going to happen, I think it causes other people who maybe watch these news networks to also become afraid and kind of sell off in anticipation of other people selling off. I have a strange feeling, not that it's coordinated, but I think it's more like if you already watch CNBC and you're using them for your financial advice, and you've dumped, let's say, a couple of million into the cryptocurrency space, and you hear them talking positively about Bitcoin one day, and you end up buying up more Bitcoin, and they talk about something. There's a bee that's been trying to get through my window for the last 30 minutes, and it's driving me insane. It keeps slamming into the window, and you can hear like a little, like imagine an insect is doing it again. Imagine an insect slamming into glass. It's been trying for the last 30 minutes, and I don't know what's wrong with it. It's not like it can smell sugar through glass. Maybe something in the room's very bright. I don't know exactly what it is, but this bee's getting on my nerve. The point is, I have a strange feeling that it's definitely something along the lines of that, where I think traditional market players who've gotten into the cryptocurrency space think that the crypto markets are more reactionary than they're used to, i.e. if there's negative news in the news about oil production slowing down, or this didn't happen, and so and so and so, and the market kind of reacts in a certain way that everyone else kind of expects it to react. In the cryptocurrency space, the normal trend doesn't usually happen as other people think it's going to go. And I think that some of the larger players who are in the cryptocurrency space probably see that there's negative news and believe that they should sell off because of a wider market sell-off, but the sell-off doesn't actually end up happening because most people within the cryptocurrency space don't actually care about an ETF or ETN or ETP or something else happening. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like it's more traditional investors who've gotten into the cryptocurrency space in the last 12 months who do these sell-offs, who allow Bitcoin's price to go down by 7, 8, 9% because they expect the wider market to also agree with the negative sentiment on that news, and therefore they also sell off. But because the people don't sell off, this is why Bitcoin kind of remains exactly where it is. If that kind of makes any sense. Once again, that's just my brain, how it actually works, because Bitcoin usually doesn't react not involuntarily, it's irrationally, normally. I feel like it's other major players who think that other people will react irrationally and therefore they sell off, but nothing usually ends up happening, and then Bitcoin ends up going back up the next couple of days. We'll see what actually ends up happening. I assume that by, like I said, we're Wednesday? By Friday, Bitcoin will probably be over 11,000, if not 11,300. Probably. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.